Hey there, YouTubers! Pat the Sound Guy here again with another broken piece of gear. Well, I don't really call everything broken. I just stuff needing service. And this has been a great little speaker at the lower deck. This was the upstairs in the beer market, which is where they have the DJ on the weekend nights, and this was their booth monitor. And this served very, very well for many, many, many years in its current state until here about a month or so ago it had an issue. And the complaint was no bottom ends and or farting. Well, that usually tells me that the woofer is toast or something it's gone awry with the woofer. So I took it upon myself to pull it apart when I had a spare minute and run some signal into it, and I had it working fairly decently at one point, and then it died. Actually, you know what it was? I had it working after I plugged it in, and it didn't make the right sound, so I gave it a whack. And it worked fine at that point for a couple of minutes, and then it broke. So I have a feeling it's something to do with the wires, the leads underneath this. This particular speaker lasted a long time before it had any troubles. I think it was in there. Oh, geez, probably 8 years. 7 years. I think this was up in that ceiling, getting a lot of heavy use. So the fact that it lasted that great, it was no big problem to spend a few bucks to replace this woofer in this. And you can hear it's making noises anyway. So we know it's a little bit worn out on the underside. So a lot of times when these speakers, as long as they make bottom end proper and they sound right overall, they make a farting noise. Usually what happens is this dust cap comes unglued. And I just use a little bit of Gorilla Glue, super glue, or regular super glue. Or a lot of guys, I think they use E6000, which is a particularly great glue. That sticks really well to this kind of material, and usually glue that dust cap back on, or just glue it all the way back around, and then it doesn't fart anymore, and it sounds great. And as you see one of my previous videos, subwoofer repair, I had a speaker that was farting that had the surround completely come off, his gasket come off. It's the gasket here. I repaired that and re-glued the whole surround back on, and that fixed it. And sometimes I have loose magnets, but this particular guy, he wasn't making any bottom end at all. So that means that the woofer had some issues. And when I gave it a whack, it came to life. And that could be one of a couple things. But usually these woofers are so inexpensive to replace that that's what you do. You just go and this comes from a company called Yorkville, which is here in Canada. This particular speaker is not made in Canada, but they designed it here, I believe. So they service what they sell. They have all the parts, and they can get them pretty quickly. So this was only about a week out to get. And they ordered a new part for me, and it was only about $50. Not expensive. About a $200 speaker, I think, overall. So it's a very good quality woofer in that. I believe what's happened to this guy is that I could mess with these leads down in here. These guys here, and they're broken. That lead is broken somewhere up inside there. So it's I have repaired these leads on other speakers before, where they've been overdriven, and this speaker will drive out too far and in too far, and it'll tear these leads off and break them. And I have resoldered them before. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. It's worth a try if you need to get something up and running for a night. or two so you can get a new component. But that's what's happening with this guy, I believe. And sometimes you can really tell if it's just been overdriven and popped the coil inside the woofer. A great easy way to check is with a multimeter. And mine is on here on the bench. I'm going to grab the leads here. Easy way to check is the continuity setting on your multimeter. Some of them beep. And this one has no continuity. I think. My meter battery is dead. Well, we're going to check my meter and come back. Alright, I got the meter sorted out and I got it up here on top of the speaker cabinets where you can see. And this is very convenient because the woofer sits in its own hole upside down, face down, so we can actually see and plug in and it doesn't fall everywhere. I got room enough on the bench. Now, I've got my two leads. This is very convenient as well because these have push terminals on them. So I can just push my two leads for the meter right into the connections for the speaker to go those leads into the coil. Now, I've got my multimeter on a setting where I can see whether I have continuity or not with the resistance. So zero resistance means you have a full circuit. So I just touch the two leads of the meter together. You can test the meter. There we go. That's a better view. So this is an easy way to check speaker components is with a meter. And you can see I've got no circuit, no continuity. There should be a circuit on through that coil wire inside that woofer. So there's one of two reasons for this. This is the reason for our no bottom end because mainly means the woofer is not functional. Two reasons for this. You've got a coil wire in there that goes in the magnet, and that when you add AC voltage to this, that the coil moves in and out. But if there's a break in that coil, if it's been overdriven and overheated, and you break the coil, and it just burns up, you don't get any continuity. That will cause the no continuity condition, or the leads break. And like I mentioned before, I just touch the lead, and it gets continuity. And you can touch it again. I had it touched earlier. I messed with it, touched it, and it had no continuity, then had continuity, no continuity, then continuity. So this is, it's too far underneath there to solder it back on and try and repair that. So I ordered a new woofer. So there's our issue. It's definitely unreliable. It's one of those issues. So we're just going to replace that part and be done with it. The easy way to save yourself some money. Some people think, oh geez, it doesn't have any bottom end. Well, maybe we have to replace the whole speaker cabinet. Well, that'd be $200. Well, for 50 bucks, we're going to replace this and call it a day. So here we have the new part, the new woofer, brand new. It's not a bad looking speaker. They're pretty well designed. Yorkville's got their stuff together. And this is from their install Coliseum line and all their other speakers that they sell. The great thing about Yorkville is they're made in Canada. They make all the cabinets in their in-house facility and it sources as much from Canada as possible. Especially if they have any wood, they usually use Canadian wood, which is very cool. And usually they try to use American-made speakers for components wherever possible. And they make some very nice parts, very nice machines. So this is pretty simple. A lot of speakers are similar to this, are very similar, work a very similar way. You just take your speaker, unscrew it, unbolt it, put the wires back on the new part, and there we go. And reinstall. That's just how easy sometimes repairing a speaker can be. So you can save yourself a lot of cash by troubleshooting something like this yourself. You know, first of all, just give it a little even push. If it scrapes, well, you know your problem. But if not, and it's still not functioning, you can do a few little things like I just showed you here. Take your multimeter and test the component. It's very simple. And you go to town and buy yourself a new part and save a lot of cash. Yeah, I hope you like this video. I'll be doing more videos like this, and let me know what you think in the comments below. And give a thumbs up. And make sure you subscribe. And we'll see you another time. Rock on. I'm going to keep repairing this and putting this back together. Have a good night there, YouTubers.